Hello, Springfield. I'm Zach Perry.
And I'm Alex Miller. Welcome to our first edition of the Springfield Report. Zach, wouldn't you say that we have quite the downtown theme?
I would. In fact, our first story covers the closure of the Branch Bistro downtown. Let's take a look.
Last month, Victory Mission, a Christian ministry helping homeless and needy in Springfield, shut down the Branch Bistro, a restaurant they operated through their Victory Trade School. According to Reverend Jim Harriger, the executive director of Victory Mission, the closing was necessary to reduce expenses and pared things down without directly affecting the core ministries. Cook's Kettle, the other restaurant operated through the ministry, now hosts all the students currently enrolled in the trade school's culinary arts program. With the closing of the Branch Bistro and the elimination of 5 positions from Victory Trade School, Herringer said operating costs are down $30,000 from last January. The goal for now, Herringer said, is to rework the menu and improve the quality of service and food. And by the end of March, he says, they'll have a restaurant he'll be glad to see you at. This is Trevor Mitchell for the Springfield Report.
Getting around downtown Springfield can be quite difficult, especially with inches of snow on the ground.
But winter weather isn't the only thing causing travel issues. This next story shows how streetscaping is affecting businesses and residents downtown.
Downtown Springfield is a thriving community for local families and college students. The recent renovations and construction that have been seen downtown have been going on for a while, but it's all for improving downtown's future.
These large areas you can't do overnight, but I think we've been able to really link our districts together and improve the pedestrian experience.
Walking downtown, Springfield residents can already see the improvement.
We'll continue to work on some of those streetscapes to soften those up and give them more personality. We've worked with city utilities to be able to have some hanging baskets. You can't tell this time of year, but last year we had over 30 hanging baskets that we had all throughout downtown. And then we have had some greens landscaping that we've done along Park Central East and West, around the square.
Downtown is already 75 to 80% done, so more improvements are expected to be made. Next time you walk downtown Springfield, make sure you look at all the new renovations.
We'd like to see more. We've introduced some sculptures at Jubilee Park, and that's really a first phase of a project that we hope to do from the square to Jubilee Park, and Jubilee Park's there at Jefferson and St. Louis next to Discovery Center. And then have that continue down St. Louis Street to the Expo Center in Jordan Valley Park.
This is Anna Beckmeyer reporting for the Springfield Report.
Our final segment takes us to the historic Hers building downtown, which was one of Southwest Missouri's largest department store for 80 years.
Vacant since 1995, the Springfield Report explores the future of this historic landmark.
Have you ever noticed the tall boarded-up building in the square downtown? This would be the Hers building. Built in 1915, Hers was one of the biggest department stores in southern Missouri at the time, before closing its doors in 1995 after filing bankruptcy.
They used to have a breakfast in there.
Really?
Yeah, we have a picture of his mom that was at the breakfast at the time at Hers.
So what does the city plan on doing with the building now? Mayor Bob Stevens expressed his excitement for the long put-off renovations of the Hers building this past Saturday. He said that the Kansas City-based Dalmart Group, which is owned by the Nichols family, has a history of taking on top renovation projects and getting them done. The city as a whole is excited. The application for tax credits and overall project was sent to the Department of Housing and Urban Development in Washington, D.C. on October 13, 2013. This just so happened to be the day that the government shut down, delaying the project.
I thought it was department stores at first. That's about all I really know about it.
The project is now back on track and work is set to begin in April. The renovation should be completed by 2015, just in time for the building's 100th birthday. The building will be used for commercial properties with market-rate apartments on the upper levels. Mayor Bob Stevens also says that a police substation will be placed at the corner of the building to monitor the downtown area more closely. Due to the young professional market downtown, consisting of accounting and architectural firms, Stevens sees the demographic of the Hers building residents to be young professionals and middle-aged individuals, perhaps even baby boomers and retirees wanting to live on the square downtown in a more dense environment. Mary Lily Smith, Economic Development Director for the City of Springfield, explains the concept of the development of housing downtown in more detail.
There is a developer out of Kansas City who owns the Hers building, and he has been working through his financing on it as well as his permitting. So they've finished their design work. They have all of their paperwork into the City of Springfield in anticipation of getting a building permit for it. And then they're just finalizing their financing for the construction financing. It's a difficult and a complicated project to put together, so it has multiple layers of financing. So you'll have your construction financing, you'll have historic tax credits, so there are federal and state tax credits that flow through to the project, and those don't come through until the project's done. So you need to get a bridge loan to take up the slack until the tax credits are issued. Then there's property tax abatement that's also available to the project. So they've been working through all of those processes. They've secured their construction financing from a lender out of Kansas. They also have a small business loan from the City of Springfield, and they've received approval for property tax abatement. And so the missing piece there was the federal historic tax credits. And that's the piece that they're working through right now. But they're confident that they're going to be able to close all those loans in March or April, and then start construction shortly thereafter. One of the things is, as I worked with the developer on his whole development process, the city had placed a lien against the building. We have about $100,000 in actual expenditures that we've made on the building to button it up while it was vacant. So we boarded up the windows, we did some other work on the building, and we placed a lien against it. So he owes us $100,000. All of that occurred prior to his acquiring the property, but it continues with the property. So in return, he's going to be paying us part of that money, and then he's going to be providing lease space for a police satellite office for 10 years, free of charge to the City of Springfield. So that'll be a great opportunity for the police to have a home base right on the square, right in the middle of all of the activity where, they spend a lot of time anyway. So we'll have that. We'll also have some storage area that we'll be using for the audio equipment that we use when we have events in the square. and for the chairs and things that we bring out for those. We have some retail activity in addition to the police satellite office, and then the second floor will be more student-oriented lofts, and so the outside of it's about a 30,000 square foot floor plate, and so the outside of that will be ringed with small lofts, more geared towards the college students. And then the interior of that floor will have shared study space, game room, bike lockers, things like that. And then as you go up in the building, the lofts will become more expensive, more upscale. They also plan to have a fitness center on site and to have a swimming pool and a suntan deck, which will be on the 3rd level of the building.
Look for the building to open in 2015. This is Taylor Marshall for the Springfield Report.
Thanks for watching the first edition of the Springfield Report. Make sure to check us out online at springfieldreport.com.
And be sure to find us on Twitter at #SGFReport. For everyone here at the Springfield Report, I'm Alex Miller.
And I'm Zach Perry. See you next week.